Chiodo. So we have to do a remix here, a remix of yesterday's episode. Because yesterday when we recorded, which is up on the Patreon right now, we talked about Joel Embiid's suspension. We talked about Paul George's debut. And we were feeling fine, I would say. 24 hours ago, we weren't feeling like great, but we were like, look, they're 1-5. The East is bad. Paul George coming back will help. And then today, last night, they have a disgraceful loss. Probably, I would say, the worst loss of the season. I know you were at the Pistons game, so you might feel a little bit differently.
No, last night was really bad.
Last night was really bad, and here's why last night was really bad. Beyond just Maxey getting injured and now being out for 2 weeks. Last night was bad because it felt like they didn't have a plan at all. The entire game, really. Like, even the first half, they were scoring, and they were able to hang in the game, but the majority of it was just tough shot making from Maxey and Paul George, which is not a sustainable offensive plan. Defensively, they looked I wouldn't say that they were like completely lost in that first half defensively, but it feels like they're just always at a disadvantage when they're going up against teams that have legit creators and size on the other side. And part of that is also Norm Powell turning into fucking Klay Thompson in game 6 against the Thunder, as he tends to do when he goes up against the Sixers. But long story short, is this season savable to you? Like, does Joel Embiid coming back in a few games save the season, or is it just starting to feel like more of a lost season to you?
It's not a lost season. It's savable. The thing is, and I've been saying this the last couple, really since the season started, is that the thing I really did not want to do, and it looks like we're heading down this path, is just slogging through a 45-win season and saying, well, we're going to get a great draw. We're going to get the 7th seed to play in, and we're going to be fully rested for the playoffs. Not going to work. It never works. It never works for anybody besides the Heat, and they have devil magic that no one else has. So in that sense, I don't know if there's a way to avoid that right now. Now, I don't think that means the season's cooked, but like it's more of a feeling. Like, you can tell. Yeah. This is going to be the same as ever. Like, you can tell when I said this last week. There's a 2-week stretch in every Sixers season where you just know it's not the end of the world, but they have a 2-week stretch where you just know, okay, this is going to have the same ending. Right. And normally it happens in like January or February. And
last year was the Embiid injury.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it's funny. It was actually at the beginning of the season 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Correctly. I think they started the season 1-4. I remember I had Bodner on, and we talked about, could Doc Rivers possibly lose his job? Obviously, that was also a really slow start from Joel that season. We've talked about his historic slow starts. I think last year he really only had one bad game, and then he kind of flipped the switch and turned it on from there.
Maxey also had a month-long injury, remember?
Maxey had a month-long injury 2 years ago. Yeah. And now Maxey is out for 2 weeks, and that's a minimum, by the way.
Yeah,
I do just want to throw this out there. It's possible it's longer. It's also possible that we have a situation where, look, he's a guy who depends on speed. He depends on bursts, and he got a hamstring injury. Sometimes those things don't go away. Like, sometimes these are things that linger. We know with James Harden, it's not as severe as James Harden's, obviously. I want to make that clear. This is not James Harden in the playoffs a few years ago. This is not even, this is probably more similar, I'd say, to, I think it's probably similar to what Halliburton struggled with last year. And we saw that he struggled to really ever regain his form after that. So I'm wondering kind of now look, if Maxey tweaked his ankle and they said he's back in 2 weeks, if you told me Joel played, I think there's 8 games between now and then. If you told me that Joel played in 5 of those games, let's say 6 of those games, I would actually feel pretty fine about our chances of kind of holding our head above water. I mean, obviously, we've talked about the fact that this team was built around Joel Embiid. And Maxey is just not. Maxey's doing the best he can. He's just not a one right now.
No.
He's not a primary creator. He's not a good enough passer and playmaker to really get there. Polarfall talked about this last night on Twitter, which is that Polarfall always has really good points on this, but basically he talks about the fact that like Maxey isn't a good interior passer. All of his passes come on like drive-in kicks. You know, he can function inside the arc when he has a dribble handoff partner that kind of simplifies things for him, and that's why the synergy between him and Joel is so well. It works so well. But Maxey is not a guy that you can have run a ton of pick and rolls, pick apart a defense. He is right now one of the best second options in the NBA. And on the nights where he's a third option, the offense is going to look unstoppable. But the reality is he isn't Joel Embiid. And even if we get 75% of Joel Embiid, we've seen just the attention that he gets from a defense, how he can bend a defense, how he is as a hub, as a scoring hub, as a passing hub now, that the Sixers will be pretty good even with this flawed roster when Joel Embiid is back, I think. It's just like you said, though, like the feeling, the gut feeling that we're starting to get.
Yeah,
it feels like, you know, like I said before, it's like a Clippers season with Paul George when he was there. It's like a Nets season when they had their big three, where you just can't get everyone healthy. Joel's out, then Paul George is out, then Paul George is back, then Maxey's out, and we're also planning on sitting one of those two guys on back-to-backs. Like, I'm just starting to get to the point where, are we going to be 5-15? like it's starting to look like it's really headed downhill, and I don't know how bad it can get before you could possibly rebound from that.
Yeah, that's right now they're 1-6. So just right now, to get the 50 wins, they have to go 49-26, which is like it's not crazy. Like they could do that, but they're probably going to be 1-8. Joel's first game back against the Knicks without Maxey, they might cup implications. They lose that 1-9. Next night's Cleveland. Joel won't play. 1-10. You start 1-10, all of a sudden
your season's over. Even if you make the playoffs, your season's over.
Yeah. If you get to start 1-10 to get to 46 wins, 46-36, you have to go 45-26. Like you have to play at a 55, what is that, 54, 53, 44 win pace to finish with 45, 46 wins. You start 1-10. And like I tweeted this last night, even before the Maxey injury happened. Like at a certain point, you have to start winning games. Like it's been 2.5 weeks into the season. They've won one game.
And it was in overtime.
And they shouldn't have won. Like they could easily be.
They got lucky that Halliburton. They could be 0-7. They got lucky Halliburton missed both of those free throws.
And like none of aside from the Suns game they should have won, but like the other games, it's not like, oh, they should have won that game. They blew it. Like, no, they're getting beat.
That's what I was just saying before you got on, was essentially that they are at a point where outside of the Suns game, every game they lost, they're getting blown out. Like these aren't close games. These are games that are decided by the fourth quarter. We're getting garbage time minutes almost every game.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you, like you said, like you hit that 1-10 mark, what you have to do for the rest of the season is you have to play perfect basketball, basically. And they just don't have the margin for error for that right now.
And they're already in a spot, like at 1-6. If let's just say Joel plays like 50 games this year, you're going to have to win 40 of them, probably. To stay within the top 4 or 5, you're going to have to win 40 of them.
And what's the trend we've seen this year so far? Jokic has to be a superhero every single night for the Nuggets to win. Giannis and the Bucks are 1-6 right now. And Giannis, when he has played amazing. The only win that they have is against the Sixers. Yeah. So my thing is, like, if you're one of the 3 or 4 best players in the NBA on a team that is massively flawed in its construction, especially when Maxey or Paul George are out, even if we have Joel, it's not going to be like it was last year, where they're just winning every one. There aren't as many easy games as last year. There are less Hornets and Pistons W's that you just can take for granted and just walk straight to a win. I think there's really only I don't even know if there's any team in the NBA that you feel 100% confident about this team beating every single night they go in there. Like, if you told me they lost to the Jazz, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you told me they lost to the Wizards, even with Joel.
Yeah, if if this team played the Jazz tomorrow with no Joel, let's say Maxey was healthy, I think they probably lose by 15. Like, and I would say the Joel, I'm on board with the Joel plan. Like, I get it, you have to do it. You're gonna have to alternate. Like, what's the point if you're not like,
right?
What are you saving him for? Because I was on board with the Joel plan because we have tried everything except this.
Yes.
Everything else was not working. It was time to do something else. And I did think that this team with Maxey and George would be good enough to go 500-ish in the non-Joel games. So if Joel played 55 games, and I was never on board with people said like 40 games, so that was crazy. But I thought he'd play 55 to 60 games.
Yeah.
And I would think if you go 500-ish in the 20 to 25 games without him, and which way you play at like a 55 to 60 win pace, that's 55 wins. So
I agree with what you're saying because, like you said, we've tried it every other way, and Joel is virtually.
And I also just put it, him missing was not the plan. Like this was not the plan. Him missing the first 2 weeks.
No. And it's not to say you're not saying that you were on board with him starting the season.
Like I was on board with him not playing back to backs,
right?
Because that's not part of the plan. Him not playing, no matter what they say, is not part of the plan. Clearly, something happened. I don't even say something happened. I think what happened was after the Olympics, he had to ramp down. He didn't do any. He probably didn't play any touch of basketball until like the end of September, and he just wasn't able to get his body right to play by October 23rd because he didn't do anything in the first couple of weeks of training camp. So in order for him to get ready for training camp, he probably would need to go on through like an intense training camp to get ready for the opener, and he just was not capable of doing that. So that's not part of the plan. But I don't think it's like a disaster, like he's injured or anything like that. He fucked up his knee again. I just think this was a unfortunate series of events that started with him playing in the Olympics, which I still think he learned valuable experiences in the Olympics. And if the trade-off was him missing the first 2.5 weeks of the season, like I'd take that. Now you didn't know Paul George was going to miss the first 2 weeks of the season.
Right.
You didn't know Maxey was going to get hurt.
Right.
So we'll see.
And also, I do just want to point out here that it's fine to have a plan like this if you feel confident about the rest of the team. The reality is that the rest of this team just isn't very good.
Yeah.
And it is completely dependent on all of the stars being healthy. And even then, there were the only real. I remember in the offseason, I remember being like, I feel better about their bench options. Like Lowry as the backup point guard, 20 minutes a game. I feel fine about that. Well, we had to scale up Lowry. It's Yabusele, I felt good about that signing. Even Caleb Martin, I liked the signing at the time. Bro, every time he shoots a three, I want to jump off a building. Like,
I did not. Did he shoot like this in Miami?
Okay,
like,
so I will tell you.
I don't mean from like a shot. I mean his shot. Like he's pushing the ball to the basket.
So I know this because I watched them last year. It happened at some point last year. I watched the games. I remember
that's great.
I remember being like, well, he still shoots in the 30s. Like, it doesn't look good. And then he got to the playoffs and he shot 40% again. Second time he's done that to the Celtics. And I was a little bit hesitant about the idea of pursuing him. But once it was like all the other options were gone and he signed this, honestly, with the benefit of hindsight, him signing that contract when we were all like, why would he sign a 4-year deal? If his agent was like, probably like, get the money now, because if your shot's broken and if you shoot 25% next year, you might be on a vet minimum. And now it's looking like, which once again, when this team is healthy, you can survive things like this. Even with in an ideal world, like I said, I always thought him and Oubre were a little bit of redundancy overlap. But in a perfect world, he's only playing 25, 30 minutes a game, and he is just doing little things he's a garbage man. Like, he makes hustle plays, he can handle the ball occasionally, he can be a play finisher, and he can run in transition, those kind of things. The problem is the Sixers need him to be so much more in every context now because Maxey's out. We need him to create more. The space, like the defense is just giving him the shot because he just cannot hit a shot to save his fucking life right now. And more importantly, to all of this is the fact that the team, I would say that Caleb isn't a bad passer by any means, but the fact that he's one of the 3 best passers on this roster is horrifying. Yeah. And that is the big issue. And like, look, I've actually been way more critical of Nurse, I feel like, than most people. Like, I think that I've been saying this all season in the Discord, which is basically, I think that nerds highly overrate him. I think he's like the 9th best coach in the NBA. And I think that he got overrated because of the championship and because he always played tough and they figured out a way to keep the Raptors in games.
People were scared of pissing off the Raptors fans.
There you go. And I think what he was brought here to do was to maximize this offense with Maxey and Embiid. And he did a great job of that. But the second that Embiid went down, I think part of it is the roster construction. A large part of it is the roster construction. Because you watch these teams that play above their head, whether it's the Jazz a few years ago or the Nets this year, or these teams that are just like performing at a level that is greater than their talent. Almost all of those teams have good passers and shooters. And the Sixers don't have good passers. And they have some guys that can shoot, but that's kind of the only thing they can do. And a lot of the times they're still hesitant to do that.
And they can't fire. Like, Eric Gordon can shoot. He will not fire over a guy. McCain's too small to do it.
Yep.
Like, that's honestly the biggest
small team.
That's the biggest thing to me is that, like, without Embiid and now Maxey or Paul George, when they were missing 2 of the 3, they couldn't shoot over guys. Like, they're so hesitant to shoot. Oubre's the only guy that will shoot over a guy. McCain hesitates on everything. Gordon hesitates on everything. So it's like Eric Gordon might shoot 40% from 3, but he's not gonna, like, on a night where Embiid's out, he's not gonna hit, like, he's not gonna go like 8 for 10 from 8 for, he's not gonna hit 8 threes because the defense is gonna play up on him because they can, and he's not gonna be able to shoot.
And they also, last night was the first time I can remember they drew up a play that ended in a Maxey wide open catch and shoot corner 3, and he nailed it. Those, not having Embiid, not having any sort of creator or any sort of connectiveness with the team, because we have so many guys that just derail plays, whether it's Drummond or Oubre, or if the defense schemes to get Caleb Martin a wide open 3 when they're in the half court, not having those guys doesn't maximize anyone. Yeah. It makes it so that Maxey is in the wrong role for him. It makes it so that everyone is in the wrong role. And it makes it so that they just can't perform like a normal team. And while I am upset with the way that Nurse has performed this year, I don't really know what you can do when they just don't have. I think they should not only have 1 win, to be clear. Like, I think they should be, at a minimum, they should be not have the worst net rating in the NBA, basically, right now. But at the same time, like, there's no solution on this roster. There's only things that you can try. And I would hope to see, with Maxey out, I mean, look, a rookie's never going to solve your problems, but like McCain's looked like he can hang. Can we get just something out of our deep bench guys, whether it's McCain or Ricky Council or someone?
Yeah, like
out of this stretch, because otherwise, Reggie Jackson and Jeff Doughton aren't fixing this shit. This
non-maxter Ricky Council's got to play. He's got to get rotation minutes. At least try it. You need to do something, like you said. Wash Reggie Jackson. We know how that ends.
Yeah,
I respect Jeff Doughton more than you do, clearly, but
I don't think Jeff Doughton is bad. I
would honestly, like, I would play Jeff Doughton minutes without Max. Like, he's better than Reggie Jackson.
You need something. You need someone who can dribble and shoot, and Jeff Doughton can do that.
I would probably play. Yeah, I would honestly, like, think about starting Jeff Doughton. I don't even care how crazy that is until Embiid comes back these last 2 games, because at least he gives you something.
Lowry, the fact that he hasn't played at all this season is a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little.
Because of the 2-way rules, probably.
He should be on an NBA deal. Like, he's better than Reggie Jackson.
This is another thing that I just wanted to point out. They're keeping an open roster spot so Josh Harris can save money and they can avoid the apron. Well, guess what? We need that fucking salary to make a trade at the deadline, because it's impossible to make a trade with these new rules without trading fucking 4 guys. So we're going to need that salary anyway. 2, you said you were going to spend fucking money, dude. Like, I know that there are advantages to staying under the apron. I get that. This is a veterans minimum deal. You can work it out so that you can do that. And then if you need to get under the apron at the deadline, you can figure out a way around that too. There are creative ways to do this. I know, because you do it every fucking year. Saving that spot, whether it's you either convert Dalton or you sign someone off the street just to give you some sort of juice, because there ain't answers on this roster.
Yeah, and they have the open roster spot, but then they also have Reggie Jackson under contract, who's nothing. He's nothing. And Adam Bona, who I like, but Nick Nurse is never going to play him real minutes in a million years. So basically,
he's also just like a rookie, raw, athletic big that's probably going to get in foul trouble a ton.
Yeah. So basically, you have two. Not only do you have an open roster spot, you're carrying 2 back of the bench guys who won't give you anything this year. So you're basically going with 12 guys that can play on a given day.
Yeah.
It's just not enough, especially when Embiid's going to miss the games he's going to miss. George is going to miss the games he's going to miss. Like, I'm really disappointed. I kind of snuck it. Morey kind of snuck it through because after the George signing and the Caleb Martin thing, I was loving him, and he kind of snuck through. He really did not have a great offseason with the depth pieces.
So here's the thing. We would be beyond fucked if Yabu didn't decide to come here.
Yeah, I don't know what they were going to do.
I mean, will we have just signed Marcus Morris again? Like,
probably. Yeah.
We would have just signed Marcus Morris, and this is the thing, is like, remember how we joked about, like, anytime Morey does an old Rocket signing, it's not even a joke. Like, all jokes contain true shit. Like, this was true.
Yeah.
It always failed if it was a former Rockets guy that Morey chased. The Eric Gordon thing is so funny because it's so indicative of what this offseason was about, bringing back the former Rocket, but also every guy they signed, like if Yabu didn't come here, Caleb Martin would have been the only guy under 30 that they signed. Everyone else, Paul George, which I still think you do the Paul George move. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But Andre Drummond's over 30. Reggie Jackson's over 30. Kyle Lowry they brought back is over 30. Kyle's been good, but like he's over 30. Like he's going to give you nights where he just doesn't have it. Yeah, Eric Gordon's over 30. Like if they had brought back Marcus Morris instead of Yabu, he would have been over 30. And honestly, like I said, Yabu's under 30. He's been a fucking miracle for this team. And it's like he's still an 8th man. What if there was no Olympics this summer? Like what if it was 2023? Oh, and by the way, he tried to say that he's like, we've been trying to get him over for a couple of years. That's total fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if that were the case, then why would he have signed that contract with Real Madrid where he lost a ton of salary? We had to buy him out of the contract and we couldn't cover all of it.
Yeah, I think he's down like $1 million this year.
Yeah, he's losing like $1 million playing for the Sixers this year.
It's going to be a good bet for him.
It's a good bet because he's going to get an NBA contract after this. Like, yeah. I think he'll make like probably $7 million next year on some team. But my whole point on all of this is the fact that like I think they did well. So here's what I was trying to say earlier. I'm fine with the Joel plan if you want to play Joel 55 games a year, whatever. I've thought that they should have angled for this. They've just never really had the team to do it except for the Harden year. Having said that, this probably was the toughest time to do it because you decided to sign another max guy, which then immediately gave you no salary space to work with. And did I anticipate pretty much all of their moves except for Yabu being a failure? No, but like sometimes that's how these smaller deals work. You miss on smaller deals a ton. It's usually the bigger deals that you don't miss on. And it's, it's the MLE and up that you're not missing on. Anything below the MLE, that $12 million mark, it's a gamble. Veterans minimums are gambles. We got lucky with Oubre last year for him being playable big minutes for us on the veterans minimum. But like, it's not a sustainable strategy if that's what you want to do this year. And once again, I was fine with their offseason. I like their offseason a lot. I'm not rewriting that fact. But now that we're in the season, it's just tough for me to see a way that this team wins games when they only have one of the guys. They only have 2 of the guys. They need to have all 3 to win like stretches of games. And it's going to be, like you said, like They could start 1-10. I will say this much. I think that if of the three guys of Maxey, Paul George, and Joel, just because I really don't trust the other wings and bigs on this team, and I think that there's a chance that between Lowry and McCain, you could scrape out some decent guard play here, and maybe even a random Downton game or whatever, that they might be able to win. If he's out 8 games, they might, and Joel only misses 2 of those, they might be able to win like 4 of those 6.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at like basically slowly building. They're still going to be like, once again, like 5-12, like 5-13. Like
they weren't going to finish there regardless, but like they are finishing with the top seed is like dead. Like it's not happening. Like even they have to play like a 65 win pace.
Yeah.
And then, they weren't going to get there regardless, but on November 7th, it being like dead, like you have no chance of catching one. That is crazy.
It's insane. I mean, it's basically unfathomable. I mean, the positive thing, the only positive thing that you can take from all of this is that the East is complete dog shit still.
Yeah.
Even with some of these teams that are like overperforming right now, the Nets have 4 wins right now. They're 4-4. They're not going to want to be a 35-win team. They have their own pick this year. This draft is like historically good, so they will drop. The Hornets are already starting to, they've been competitive so far this year. They're 3-5. I'm not sure how sustainable that is with Lamelo Ball's injury history, to be completely honest. The Raptors have been kind of scrappy, but they're 2-7. The Pistons are 3-6. The Wizards are 2-4. You can easily leap all those teams with a 2-month stretch where you look decent.
Before last night when Maxey got hurt, I was saying that Embiid's going to come back next week, and by like Thanksgiving, they're going to be like the 4 seed in the East.
Right. Because right now, even with all of these injuries and with everything bad that has happened, they are currently 2 games out of the play-in.
Like you said, the East, that's the main thing that I'm just not.
Oh, and the magic with Paulo's injury.
Yeah, like that's the one thing is that the East looks like it's going to be rough this year. Coming into the year, honestly, I was like, they have to win 50 games because that's the only way they're going to stay out of the play-in. Now I look at it, the Cavs and the Celtics are obviously going to be tryhards. They're going to win like 60 games. After that, the Knicks major 1926ers vibes out of Madison Square Garden right now.
It's
major 19.
It's weird. We're doing our preseason mulligans on the next episode. I think one of my preseason mulligans will be the Jalen Brunson MVP hype that I had coming into this year. I had him as I think he finished 5th last year, and I was like, that's the best odds that you can get on the board because they were super long, and it's just been.
I really thought that they were going to go like try hard mode in the regular season, that the offense was going to be unbelievable, and I thought Tibbs and the effort was going to turn them into like a top 12 defense, which would have been enough to win 55, close to 60 games.
Yep.
And it's just not. They look like I said, the 1926ers. They look like they're going to have a rough season. They're going to win more games than they lose. They're going to win probably 50 games.
They'll probably still win 50 games, but I was expecting them to be a clear top 3 or 4 seed.
I thought they'd be what the Cavs look like they're going to be.
Yeah, no, that's
I almost
probably how I felt too.
I don't remember if I picked them to be the 1 seed or not. I wanted to. I think I ended up picking Boston to be the 1 seed, but I thought they had a real chance at the 1 seed.
Oh, by the way, the Bulls are also ahead of us, and they have Josh Giddey, so we're good.
Yeah,
it's the second worst net rating in the NBA now.
They also have Lonzo, though, so don't disrespect Lonzo.
First off, they're going to trade Lonzo, Levine, and Vucevic at the deadline. So
Lonzo's good. A Sixer. I mean,
yeah, just what we need. Another guy with a bad knee that can stay healthy.
I wish he gets to, but watch Lowry with Maxey and how well they fit with each other and complement each other, and then imagine Lonzo. If he can stay healthy,
Lonzo,
it would be perfect.
Lonzo, by the way, I just want to point out that the net rating with those two this year is dog shit. If Lowry were 6'5",
if he was 32,
or if he were 32, it would be a godsend. They just can't survive because they're too small on the other end defensively.
Yeah, I think if Lowry was 32, I think we'd win like 70 games. But he's not 32.
Unfortunately, he's 40 basically.
Yes,
but long story short here, there are, even as bad as it looks right now, there's room for growth. There's room to get up to that, even back into the play-in soon. If things really break their way, then I think it's possible that they end up being, a top 6 seed. That deadline looms huge though. Yeah. And I said this before, like if it's obvious that there's one huge weakness with this team, it's literally someone who could just pass and shoot. And like I don't even need like an elite creator. I literally just need someone who is like even if we were able to somehow cobble the money together to go get like Cam Johnson to play on the wing, or someone that is just a playable guard or wing is very obviously missing from this team. And Daryl Morey waits until the deadline day to do it again when it's obvious that we can identify it and we can go make that move. There's something fundamentally wrong with him as a human being if he does it this year. Like this is not the year to wait. I know he's going to do it. I'm just saying he's like a bad person if he does it to me this year, because there's no reason to fucking do it. We know we'll be able to identify the flaws with this fucking team. We already know what they are. They don't have size. They don't have enough shooting, and they can't pass. So like we've identified the issues. The second those guys are traded, I want you on the phone calls, not waiting until fucking 2 p.m. of the deadline this year.
And this is the thing that drives me nuts with Daryl, is I know he's sitting there in his office calculating the stats, and like he doesn't think this matters. Like he doesn't think it matters that they're 1-6 because they're unhealthy, and when they come back, and all that matters is the playoffs. I just, like I said at the beginning, it does not work to slog through a season, the vibes be awful, win 45 games, and just hope once you get to the playoffs that that's all going to come together because you got a nice matchup. It's not going to happen. We saw it last year. And last year the vibes were good, and it was unfortunate with the injury, but they slogged. That was such a slog the last 2.5 months, and we all were, and like I was guilty of it too. We thought that the Embiid was going to come back, and they were going to get right back to where they were the first half of the season, and they were going to go on a run because they got a grid draw, and it just didn't happen. It doesn't work. I'm not saying you have to win 60 games and be the Celtics or the Celtics of last year or the Warriors of the 2010s. You have to play consistently good basketball over a 6 months period of strength. You can't have months where you go 5-10. You have to play consistently good basketball. Even if that means 53 wins, fine. Yep. I can't do the 45 win season again, where we just spend 6 months slogging through it, being miserable, and saying, well, once we get to April, we're going to get the 6th seed, and we're going to get the Cavs in the first round, and that path to the conference final is going to be the Cavs and the Pacers. Like, no, that's not how it's going to work. They'll lose.
There has been 3 teams that have not been a top 3 seed that have made it to the NBA Finals since the bubble included. Miami Heat twice, and the Mavericks last year. Even if you get to that point, all of those teams are dead on arrival in the finals.
Yeah, you have to play.
They have some things break their way. They either get a good matchup or injury luck, or like the Mavs last year, they made a trade at the deadline and they found their footing, and Luka, obviously Luka didn't actually play that out of his mind in the playoffs last year, but historically he has been a playoff riser. My whole, just speaking my piece on this, is like you have to show some level of competency in the regular season and not just hope to get an easy path, like you said. And I'm not saying you need to be the 3 seed, but like you need to be capable of playing up to the level of one of the 3 best seeds in the Eastern Conference. And they showed it last year. The Joel injury derailed it, and they probably never were going to win the finals last year or anything. But they could have made a reasonable run, I think.
They could have, if obviously things went wrong. I'm not going to blame them for this. Like, things went horribly wrong, but they should have been in the conference finals if things went right. They would have been in the conference finals. Like, the Pacers were in the conference finals.
Yeah.
They were 31-8 with Embiid last year. Like, they were the second best team in the East last year when healthy. And unfortunately, it didn't have to happen. But again, like, I would rather be the 4 seed and have a good regular season, would be the 4 seed and play the Celtics in round 2, than win 47 games and be the 6th seed and just hope like, oh, we got the Knicks and then the Cavs. We got an easy path. Like,
it never works that way for the Sixers.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. The 4 seed. We tried to do it with this is why we're trying this new thing. Yeah, like, no matter what happens, like you just got to beat who's in front of you.
I'm done with playing the games with the matchup. We did it in 21 with the Hawks. We're horrible. I don't care. Play who you play. And you know what? Like, the Cavs might be the 1 seed anyway. Like, the 6th seed might be the worst seed. Like,
it's definitely possible the Cavs are the 1 seed, especially with this Darius Garland rebirth, only due to the fact that, like, they're one of the few teams in the NBA that I think that can miss Like, okay, Darius Garland's out. Donovan Mitchell can just take over as the primary creator, like the whole game.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If Donovan Mitchell's out, Darius Garland's still like a passable primary creator. If Allen is out, then Mobley can slide to the 5. If Mobley is out, then Allen is still incredibly effective. Like the pieces that they have in the regular season, like that team might win 55, 60 games just based on the fact that they are, first off, they've already gotten out to what, they're 8-0, I think, to start the season.
9-0.
9-0.
If you look at their schedule, if they beat the Warriors tomorrow, and I think it's in Cleveland, like it's easy. Like they could be 14, 15-0. Like they'll probably lose a dumb game, but like
sure,
it's like it is an easy schedule coming up for them.
Yeah, so we might just, there might be a world where they are running away with the Eastern Conference because the Celtics don't have any reason to care this year.
Yeah, like the Celtics, like why would like I guess the only thing would be like maybe they don't want to play the Knicks in the second round if the Knicks are the 3 seed, but like
I think the Celtics, the Knicks if they're healthy.
They would, but like that's what that would be the narrative, I'm sure. Like you don't want to play the Knicks in the second round, or if the Sixers are hanging around the play-in, you don't want to play the Sixers in the 7th seed. By the way, I was saying this earlier today. Mm-hmm. We already established how much this would suck, but it would be so funny if the Sixers finished at the 7th seed in the play-in and the Celtics got the 2 seed. Like you tank that game. Like people's you tank that game. Like you don't play Embiid in that game. You don't. Like you tank it.
You're so now you're playing the matchup game to avoid the Celtics in the 2 seed.
I don't want to do it. I'm just saying, like, and again, if this happens, like, I think the season's cooked anyway.
Sure.
But, like, just from a logical standpoint, let's just say the Sixers are the 7th seed.
Right.
If they're in the play-in, the Celtics are the 2 seed, the Cavs are the 1 seed. There's no way you play hard in that game to win to get the Celtics matchup.
Hey, what happened last time that happened? The Miami Heat lost.
Yes.
Well, actually, the last time they got smoked by the Celtics in round 1 and they 8-1. But 2 years ago, they lost in the first game and everyone was like, it's over. And then they made the NBA Finals.
And they were losing to the Bulls with a minute left.
Could you imagine we're losing to the Bulls with a minute left? We're like, it's over. This will just never happen to the Sixers, though.
Yeah,
because I'm just kind of got to the point where I'm like, only bad things will happen to the Sixers. And I'm not like, oh, we're the Pistons, we're the Wizards. I'm like, no, just weird shit is always going to happen. Good things will happen for the Celtics. Good things will happen for the Warriors. And this is just kind of the reality.
And it just spirals for us. Like when one weird or bad thing happens and all of a sudden Joel Embiid shoving a reporter. Like it's just...
God. Oh my God. Yeah, if you want to hear our thoughts on that, that's on the Patreon. I probably shouldn't release that to the public. Okay, so before we get out of here, I need to get your thoughts without any spoilers because I'm going to lead into our NBA Cup predictions from here. Without any spoilers, do you stand by your predictions that you made for the NBA Cup that we recorded yesterday?
I stand by them wholeheartedly. I respect the Cup too much to switch my predictions and make predictions just based on what I want to happen.
Yes.
So I believe that the Tyrese Maxey injury, while it will affect, he's 2 to 3 weeks, he'll miss the 2 Cup games next week. He probably will miss the 22nd game, which is the 3rd game against the Nets. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow. My guess is he probably won't play in that game. We shouldn't need him for that game regardless. We'll need him for point differential, but I don't think we'll need him in that game regardless.
Do you think Embiid will be on a minutes restriction in the Knicks game when he comes back?
I think they will say he's on a minutes restriction, and then he will play 37 minutes. That's what always happens.
They need
Maxey will be back for December 3rd against the Hornets, which will be a big game. That's my prediction.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here from the NBA Cup Whisperer. Enjoy our preview of the NBA Cup. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Unfortunately, not for the Sixers, but
it is.
We still got Cup fever.
The Cup is the most wonderful time of the year for the Sixers.
Yep. No spoilers.
No spoilers. I like I said, I respect the Cup too much to pick what I just want to happen. And
Fair.
We'll see that.
Fair. Completely fair. The Larry David theory on here, right? What he talked about on Bill's podcast?
No, it's Larry David.
I think I've told you about this before, but basically Larry David's theory is that the reason why, and Chiodo, you might want to close your ears for this point. The reason why he doesn't like the in-season tournament is, I know, I'm sorry. Yeah. The reason why he doesn't like the in-season tournament is because of the fact that he thinks you can't ramp up in the middle of the season. And then Bill had him on probably 2 months after the in-season tournament when the Lakers and the Pacers were in a death spiral after they went super hard in the middle of the season to try to win the NBA Cup. He's like, you can't get to playoff intensity and then ramp down. You have to end the season after that. So that's why it doesn't work.
Pacers in the playoffs.
They did make the Eastern Conference Finals. That's true. They were healthy. They were healthy.
Stick to writing shows, Larry. Okay.
Chiodo will be the sports czar over here.
We respect the cup here. Come on.
We do respect the cup. I had a guy tweet at me earlier that the NBA Cup is a joke, and I immediately blocked him because we have to.
It's an immediate block for me.
Yeah, we have to respect the integrity. Just like LeBron, Larry David might also be washed. So, let's get into the NBA Cup talk because that's what people came here to hear about.
Yes.
We're locked in on this.
Oh yes.
I think what we should do is we should go through group by group.
Yep.
And we'll each pick who we think wins each group. Now,
I'm gonna seed the groups.
Okay.
I got records too.
Okay.
He's done his homework.
Let's go.
Folks. We're gonna prepare Chiodo on this.
Actually, I don't know if I have records because I didn't do the math, and I don't want to disrespect the cup.
Of course.
But I will give the records. I will give the top record, the record that wins the group. I'll give the record that wins the group. And maybe as we go on, I'll give you records.
So, Chiodo, which group would you like to start with? Because it is
go in order.
Okay, we'll go in order.
We go West Group A, West Group B, West Group
Okay.
C, East Group A. We just go in order.
Okay, so West Group A is the Minnesota Timberwolves, the LA Clippers, the Sacramento Kings, the Houston Rockets, and the Portland Trailblazers. It's honestly, this is kind of a stacked group.
You'll see my opinions. I am low on the Minnesota Timberwolves NBA Cup chances.
Okay.
I do not believe Anthony Edwards respects the Cups the way he needs to. He's just too young.
Yeah.
He will in time. But right now, I don't think he respects the Cups. In fact, the Minnesota Timberwolves open next Tuesday night against the Portland Trailblazers in Portland.
Yeah.
The Portland Trailblazers are going to win that game.
Wow.
And the Minnesota Timberwolves Cup run is going to be over before it starts.
Wow.
So they're going to punch him in the mouth.
They're going to lose. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to go 1-3 in Cup play.
Whoa. Okay. So you think that they only win one of these games?
They finish in last place in Group A.
Wow. Okay.
Wait,
honestly,
5 teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot that. Yeah.
So I almost picked Minnesota to win this group, but I had the same thought as Chiodo in that this is a new team. I know they have most of the pieces from last year, but they do have two new rotation players. They're still figuring things out. It's early in the season. I think that they have higher goals in mind, which is not respecting the cup at all, not respecting the in-season tournament and its integrity.
Not higher. It's lower goals in mind, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, NBA championship is, it's an afterthought compared to the cup.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
So I actually, Chiodo, do you want to say who you picked to win this group? Because I think we're going to have the same group, and I think I already got a spoiler.
My pick to win this group is the Sacramento Kings.
By the way, Sam, I know I kind of got on the Kings after the first 2 games, and I might need to start to learn how to respect the Kings. Because,
by the way,
I was surprised to learn this. Are you aware that the Sacramento Kings are currently 5th in net rating and have the 9th ranked defense in the NBA?
Yes.
They're top 10 in both offense and defense.
I'm telling you, man, Zags. They are the Zag squad right now.
If you feel bad about them, they're good, and if you feel good about them, they're bad.
Yeah,
that's been your whole thing with the Kings. That's proven to be true so far this season. Yeah. We're 5-6 games into their schedule. They're honestly they're 3-2 right now. They're underperforming their net rating by almost every team in the NBA, which means that they should be even better than their record. I know it's only 5 games, so it's hard to say.
I completely agree with Chiodo's pick. I also had the Sacramento
I have the Kings
coming out of this. Yeah, so it was a sweep for all of us. And I'd like to cite something Chiodo brought up earlier. I know the Kings are going to respect the cup, and they're going to respect the integrity. This is a team that understands.
Didn't they get to Didn't they win their group last year?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
they lost to the Pelicans.
Yes,
in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, the Pelicans, who, by the way, like the good Pelicans, like the Pelicans are like just the ultimate like random result randomizer. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just lose any team, they could like destroy the Celtics by like 19 one night and then like lose to the
They've
fucking
lost
Nets
twice
by
to the
5.
Blazers so far this
Yeah.
year because
Oh
of
my
all
God.
their injuries. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
Zion played in 2 of those games. Delano Banton went off on them in the fourth quarter the other night, by the way.
Yeah.
Do we, Chiodo, before we move on from this group, I think I have the Kings winning this. I think the Rockets are a sneaky pick here, though.
I have
They're
the Kings
built for the cup. They're young. They're athletic. They run a lot.
I have the Kings at 3-1, and I have the Rockets at 2-2.
Fair.
I think the Rockets will lose to the Clippers.
Mm.
It's just that I don't know. I have a feeling about that game. It's
James Harden revenge,
Yeah, it's James Harden's revenge, and then I think they also lose to the Kings. I think the Kings' one loss will be at LA to the Clippers, and the Clippers are going to go 2-2 with losses to the Timberwolves. That's the Timberwolves' one win, and the Trailblazers. They're going to lose. Clippers are going to lose to the Trailblazers, which is going to be devastating for them because it's going to ruin their cup chances. And by the way, the Trailblazers go 2-2. So it's a solid cup run. It's something to build on next year for the young Portland Trailblazers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like when Kawhi left the Raptors and he said, this is something to build on. They still won. They were on pace to win like almost 60 games the next year. Almost made it back to the conference finals. So
I do have the Rockets at 3-1. Second in this group. Oh, wait, no, I had the Rockets at 2-2.
2-2. Yeah, second. All right. So we're going to this group. Before we pick our two wild card teams to win, we're going to move on to Group B, which is the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Jazz. So, by the way, I just little footnote here.
Aaron Gordon, you do your footnote.
Aaron Gordon will be out for this entire run, basically, because it's going to be over the course of the next month. He's probably going to be out at least 3 weeks, I'd imagine. So he will not be a factor here. Jamal Murray will be back soon, so he will be. I would imagine he will play in the cup, but that's what is on the table here for the Nuggets.
So my question about this group, gentlemen, if the Thunder fail to win this group, how many first-round picks does Shai Gilgeous-Alexander go for when they blow this team up?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bad sign.
Absolute disaster for the Thunder to lose this group. Like, I think you have to have serious conversations about where do you go from here.
Right.
You have
who's the scapegoat
roster.
Yeah.
The Thunder, it needs to at least be a trip to Vegas. Like, you need to win your group, and you need to win the quarterfinals and get to Vegas.
You can't bring this team back after the in-season tournament if they don't make it to Vegas. Yeah. There's got to be huge wholesale changes at the trade deadline.
I was gonna say, luckily we have 2 months until the trade deadline, so they can reassess and figure out who they're gonna trade.
Mark Dagnall, get ready to learn Adrian Griffin assistant, buddy. If they lose this game.
So this group is funny to me because obviously it's very top heavy with the Suns and the Thunder. The Suns who have been what?
I mean, that's like saying there's two really handsome guys in this group. There's Sam Sheehan and Idris Elba.
The Suns have been really good this year.
Oh, come on! Like no one. I don't know. Mickey Mouse. They have been
winning. All right, here's the argument against the Suns. They have been winning close games, and they still have a center rotation of Nurkic and Plumlee. Here's the argument for the Suns. Their wings have looked more playable, Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn so far this year. And more importantly to me is the fact that Devin Booker has been dog shit to start the season, and they're still winning games. So if that is the case, I think you catch a little bit of. We're not talking about the playoffs here. I've said all year I thought the Suns were going to be a good fucking regular season team. I had them as like the 4 seed, and then I thought they were going to be dead on arrival in the playoffs. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to win the NBA Finals. We're talking about the cup here. You're catching momentum in November, December, hot start, new coach. KD feels invigorated. Maybe Booker can figure it out. Let's see if they can take home the cup. We're not talking about the playoffs. He's running him into the ground. It's fucking November, December. They are going to respect the cup.
I totally disagree. They disrespect the cup. Kevin Durant thinks this is beneath him. There's no way. Coach Bud, this is a stain on his beloved regular season games. This is not a normal regular season game. He thinks the regular season should be all the time. I don't think the Suns take this seriously at all. I actually think the Lakers are the number 2 in this division coming out.
The Lakers are going to have a cup hangover this year. It's going to be rough for the Lakers. I think they're going to go 2-2 in cup play. but a disappointing 2-2. Like they're going to be out of it early, I think. The Thunder are going to run away with this group. They're going to go 4-0.
Yeah,
they're going to run away. They're going to run away with the 1 seed on point differential.
Yeah.
Even though they're going to be the only 4-0 team in the West.
Just want to throw this out there. Thunder, I've been very impressed with them. Their defense is amazing. Their offense is really bad. like low key, their offense has been not contender level to start the season. I know they're going to get Hartenstein back. I think he'll especially help with the half court offense. But this is a team that, all right, they're up to 9th in offense now. Before the game the other night, they were like 20. I shouldn't say they're really bad if they're up to 9th in offense, but they were top 3 in both offense and defense. And Shea has been, to start the season, has been awesome, but he's shooting like way more threes and he's shooting in the 20s from 3. I'd like to see them get a little bit more chemistry offensively, but for cup purposes, they have the best defense in the NBA right now. And it's a historically good defense to start the season. And I think that's going to carry them to a group win here in this. And I actually do think the Suns are going to respect the cup. I think I think they feel invigorated under Bud. I think Ryan Dunn, I know he's struggled the last 2 games to shoot after shooting the shit out of the ball to start the year, but they have some guys that can bring some energy. I like their cup. I like their cup chances to make it in as a wild card.
I have the Suns at 3-1. They lose to the Thunder. They beat everyone else. I also want to amend. I said Lakers at 2-2. Lakers are going to go 1-3. They are going to lose to either the Spurs or Jazz, along with the Thunder and Suns.
I'm starting to think the Lakers' hot start was not JJ Redick figuring out basketball.
I will say JJ will respect the cup, I think.
Sure.
But I just think there's a cup hangover coming for him.
Cup hangover, and also their bench sucks. And they're like LeBron and AD are already AD was already getting nicked up in the game the other night. Like he came out at one point. He looked like we thought he tore his Achilles on the stream. We were like, oh my God. And then he was back in like 2 minutes later.
Now, one thing that will favor the Lakers in that regard is they don't start the cup till next Friday, and it's at the Spurs, which I know I just said I have them losing. But they have a late, and actually they start with the Spurs and then the Jazz the next Tuesday. So they don't play the Sun. They finish with the Suns and Thunder, but they don't play them until November 26th and December 3rd.
I was going to say, question. Do we think? How do we think the Spurs fare in their cup chances?
I think they go 1-3, but the 1-3, but the 1 win will be the Lakers, and it will be a moment for Wemby.
Yeah, there's no Jeremy Sohan here either. Keep in mind
that helps them.
He's actually pretty good this year.
I was a huge Sohan guy, but he sucks. Coming out.
Okay, I was kind of indifferent towards him as a prospect. I've been surprised by how good he has been this year, but
I haven't watched him this year, to be honest. But
yeah, he's been actually really good.
His first 2 or 3 years. I've been very disappointed in him because I was really excited about him coming out.
That's fair. All right, let's move on to the C group in the West, which is
fascinating group,
the most stacked group of all of these groups, in my opinion. Even when you consider how bad Denver has been to start the season.
Yes.
Denver, Dallas, New Orleans, maybe if they can get healthy. The Warriors and the Grizzlies also need to get healthy, but they're trending in the right direction. So this group is like, damn, like because every other group has one is fairly easy win, I'd say. Like the Jazz are a layup in the other. They haven't won a game so far this year. They're a layup in the B group. And then on any given night, the Clippers or the Blazers could be a pretty easy win as well. So this group doesn't really have an easy win if the Pels and the Grizzlies can get healthy. But like I said, no Aaron Gordon for this stretch.
This group, I have the winner of this group going 2-2. And it comes down to
parity. This is the parity group.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Do you think it's the Warriors?
Yes, I actually do.
Yes. That's what I think.
I think the Warriors are going to run up the score. I have the Warriors at 2-2. Actually, I have the Mavs, the Warriors, and the Nuggets at 2-2. No, actually, the Mavs, the Warriors, and the Grizzlies at 2-2. I don't know if that works out math-wise.
By the way, Sam, in the preseason, I made the argument for why I think the Warriors could actually be pretty good this year. Plus 17.5 net rating. They didn't lose a game without Steph when he got injured. And they have the 10th offense and the 2nd defense to start this season.
You say in the preseason, but we're currently in the preseason to the Cup.
To the Cup, yes. It's a good
No, I meant
Cup
in the preseason when we did our predictions.
Yeah, but
I
this is
was
the real preseason.
higher on the Warriors than most.
Can I counterpoint you, Trill? This is a real quote from 10 minutes ago from Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was asked if he spoke with his team today to reset after the election results. I swear to God, this is true. I just told them, let's make America great again and beat the Celtics tonight. I swear to God. Real Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr said that?
Steve Kerr said that, yes.
Steve Kerr. So have we lost another fallen soldier for the MAGA crowd? Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr swung with the Zoomers.
He's also slandering Jason Tatum.
Dark Gothic MAGA Steve Kerr.
He had so much fun slandering Tatum with all the Zoomers on Twitter this summer that he decided, I'm flipping. He said, he's like, I listened to this podcast. It's called the Poolcast. It's really cool. You should check it out sometime. That's amazing.
It's the Steve Kerr Tatum game.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, this is the rivalry. Honestly,
Warriors are going to win tonight.
Warriors win? All right,
yeah,
let's go.
No.
Third in net rating. The Celtics haven't lost, or Celtics have lost one game this year.
Yeah.
The Warriors have also lost one game. By the way, Buddy Hield.
That's actually right. That guy actually just want to accuse him. The winner of the division is 2-2. I should have thought of that. Everyone has to be 2-2. So everyone is 2-2.
Fair.
That's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Chiodo.
Missed that.
Question though. Buddy Hield, what do you make of his start with the Warriors?
I'm not concerned. Look, man, he was so bad. I don't care. I don't care. He was so bad here. He was exactly what
We had the honeymoon period though. Remember the first 3 games? We were like, oh my God, this is great.
We did have the honeymoon period because we had not seen a guy make a 3 for the Sixers at that time in about 3 weeks.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, I'm not worried about what's about Buddy Hield at all.
Fair.
He will show his true colors eventually. He's 38 years old. Like, we're good. He's older than Steph Curry. People don't know that. He's older than Steph Curry.
That is wait, no. For a second, I was like, wait, he's how old?
Yeah, you believed it for a second.
I did. I had to register my brain. He is 31.
He's only 31?
Yeah, I think he's 31.
See, he's so old that I'm surprised he's only 31.
Right. It's the Andre Drummond thing where when I tell people Drummond's only 30, they're like, what? How is that possible? And now when I tell people, they don't get surprised because they've just known that he's like younger than he seems for so long. So, all right. So you're picking the Warriors out of this group?
I want to reset, actually. I got to reset.
I also picked the Warriors.
Yeah, we all picked the Warriors, which is...
See, what this group comes down to is that first Warriors-Mavs game. I think the Warriors will win that game because it's Clay's return to Golden State. It's a rough spot. You don't want that if you're the Mavs. You don't want Clay's return to beat Golden State, beat the Cup. Because Clay's going to be chucking like crazy.
Yep.
It's a disaster class Clay game. So that's why I'm picking the Warriors in that game. I think the Mavericks will win two of their other 3. I think they'll lose to the Pelicans just because it seems like that's going to happen. And I also question Luka's commitment to the Cup. So
Luka does not care about the Cup.
Yeah, I really question Luka's commitment to the Cup. So
yeah, cup dropper, playoff riser. That's Luka.
I will be picking the Warriors off of point differential. I think they run up the score on the Mavs. I think they beat the Mavs by like 25.
Okay, before we move on to our wildcard teams, are there any specific players that you've picked from these teams that you think will be Cup risers that will make a name for themselves in the in-season tournament?
I have an all Cup and a Cup MVP at the end when we do all our picks.
Okay. All right, but you don't have any like random role players or anyone. Like, I think that this will be like a breakout for Pods, for example. Pods will be hooping. He'll put up like he'll have like some inefficient nights, but he'll average like 13, 7, and 5 on like pretty good efficiency. He'll get like a steal and a block a game or something. And he'll put his name on the map.
This is not exactly a crazy like guy. I think DeMar DeRozan will have an insane Cup run for the Kings. And the guy always said it's not a crazy pick, but he will have a great Cup run for the Kings, lead them to Group A and lead them not to Vegas. We'll see. Oh, we got to do our seedings, by the way, for the point differential and stuff.
Of course. Well, we haven't gotten to our wild card teams yet. So
yeah, there's only one wild card team. But
my selection for the breakout guy is I think Amen Thompson is going to arrive for the Rockets. I think he's
the other night. Tari and Amen almost saved the whole fucking game for them at the end against the Warriors. They had like a 20-point comeback in that game. So Yeah. All right. Amen Thompson is your pick. My pick is Pods. We'll put his name on. He's already starting to put
And my pick is DeMar DeRozan, which is not a breakout pick, but I think he will be like the best player in group play, one of the best players in group play.
Fair. So, all right, what do you think in terms of point differential ranking?
So actually, I just realized in my rankings, there's no point differential because I have the Thunder at 4-0, the Kings at 3-1, and the Warriors at 2-2. So it goes straight down.
Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing then, actually. Yeah. So I think that I would have the same rankings.
And then for
because the Thunder are in the easiest group of everyone and are the most elite team.
Yeah, the Thunder are going to go. I feel pretty confident the Thunder are going 4-0. The Suns could get them, but I think the Thunder. That game's in OKC too.
Fair. So, let's talk about the wild card teams because there's a handful of wild card teams that you could pick from here. Some of my favorites to pick from are I know Mike's not as high on the Wolves, but I had the Wolves on my list.
Yeah.
The Suns, the Mavericks, I feel like the Grizz. I know the Grizzlies have struggled to start the year. They've been up and down. But if everyone can get healthy, this feels like a team that, like, remember a few years ago when they went crazy in the in-season tournament? Yeah. Like, this is built for this kind of team.
The Grizzlies, the Grizzlies and Pelicans in particular, I think really get hurt by their group because those are definitely two teams in another group I could see getting into the wild card. But I feel that group's just going to cannibalize each other.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah. That's the hard part about picking these wild card teams.
Fine. I think my wild card is like clear. It's the Suns. Like,
I fucking had that too. We have the same. I'm not even kidding. I literally had. Yeah. I thought you got two, and I had the Suns as my first wild card and the Mavs as my second wild card. But since we're doing just one, it is the Suns are my clear wild card pick here.
I'm selecting the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay. I think that
Shocker.
That group. I think that that group is. I think that group stratifies more than you guys do. I think that one. I think the Warriors like straight up go 4-0 in that group, and
it's also possible that the Mavs don't give a shit. The Pelicans are injured, and the Nuggets are just not good.
That's the swing. There is It is possible that Luka just doesn't give a shit. Yeah. And is drinking beers before the games and sweet tea. And they go like 1-3. There's a world where the Mavs go like 0-4 in this group. Honestly, There's also a world where the Nuggets go 0-4 in this group. Like
right.
So I have everyone at 2-2, but I think
By the way, for everyone who missed the Zach Edey breakout game the other night, you can sign the apology.
Zach Edey will have a really good cup run.
Okay, he'll be good he's built for the cup.
It will power him to Rookie of the Year.
Let's go.
Yes.
Right now, the two front runners for Rookie of the Year are literally two of our YKB guys, Bub Carrington and Zach Edey.
We cooked.
We absolutely cooked on this worst rookie class of all time. Look, but we picked out two of the guys that are actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But I have it written down here. Actually, I just wanted to talk about this really quickly. In a single game, only two rookies have recorded 25 points or more, 12 rebounds or more, 4 blocks or more, and shot 90% from the field. Number one is Zach Edey. Number two is Hakeem Olajuwon.
Let's go.
So respect Edey. You all the Edey deniers who tried to get me to jump off the boat the first 2 weeks of the season. You will repent. You will repent. Yeah. He is coming.
Mark in Philly,
possibly in the cup.
I remember your post. I remember your post, Mark in Philly.
I literally just read that from our DM. Mark in Philly tweeted at me about how bad Edey's defense was and how he was going to be a bust, and then I DM'd him that exact post and said, "Talk soon."
He's going on the Edey wall of shame.
Yep.
You will live in infamy.
Yeah. You will regret it. All right. We are now moving on to the Eastern Conference before we do our predictions. Post group play in the elimination round of the Cup. So we have Group A, which there was a major injury that affected.
Yes, major. Thank God.
Instant reaction from Chiodo.
I mean, the Cup was looking. I was really down on the Cup. Like I had almost given up. And it just
Joel Embiid hasn't played so far this season. He'll make his debut against the Knicks for the first game of the NBA. Are you a little bit nervous about that, Chiodo? Just because Joel usually stops first games?
I do. I feel like Joel's return games, he usually plays like shit, but they somehow pull out a win.
Unless it's against a really good team, yeah.
And unless we're not playing a really good team.
We're playing the Knicks.
Yeah, that's what I know. I'm aware. Believe me, I'm aware.
Yeah. They've been once again, middling so far this year. They're 3-3. But so we have our group is the Magic, who just lost Paolo Banchero. He will not be playing in these group stage games pretty much at all. We have the Philadelphia 76ers. We have the New York Knicks. We have the Brooklyn Nets, who have been kind of scrappy so far this year, the Nets. And the Charlotte Hornets, who, by the way, he's questionable for tonight's game. Lamelo Ball, just something to keep an eye on. The ankle injury is acting up a little bit again. So it's possible that we get Hornets without Lamelo at some point as well, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that.
Hornets game, I'm very, 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 very concerned about that Hornets game because it is the last game of the Cup. It is December 3rd in Charlotte. The next night, they play Orlando at home.
But
Embiid,
Paulo will still be out, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Joel has to play the Hornets game instead of the Magic game.
Of course.
I'm sorry. But I'm worried.
They will prioritize the Cup if they have a chance.
They better. Like, I'm out on the Sixers forever if they're 3-0 or if they're 2-1.
And then they sit Joel and then they lose to the Hornets. Yeah, that would be a tough look, I would say. I would say the Boomers will go nuts with that one. Marcus Hayes is cooking up.
The Boomers don't respect the Cup.
So, who do you have coming out of this group, Chiodo?
Here's the thing.
Oh no!
I respect the Cup way too much.
Yeah,
just give my
homer pick.
Like, I respect it way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I would never do that.
We respect you for it.
I've had a hard time coming to grips with this decision.
This is why we have you on.
We know you'll make the tough choices when it comes to the Cup.
But here's the thing: the Sixers are going to win this group.
Okay.
And I'm not making that as a homer pick. I'm making that as a real pick.
Logical pick.
They're going to beat the Knicks in the first game. Adrenaline rush. Embiid's back. Mm-hmm. Adrenaline rush. The Knicks are not built for Philadelphia. We all know that. Hopefully, be nice to get a ankle roll from Josh Hart in the next couple of days. It'll be big.
By the way, I do just want to point out here the Josh Hart thing. Someone sent me his 3-point shooting stats this year. And they sent me his 3-point shooting stats in the second round after he couldn't miss against the Sixers in the playoffs. Do you want to guess what they're at right now?
Say 25%.
He's shooting 26% from 3 to start this season. He also shot, I believe, 27% in the second round after shooting in the 40s against the Sixers, including the game-winning shot and then the shots that sealed Game 4, I believe it was, in Philly.
Yeah. But yeah, I have the Sixers beating the Knicks in a close game. It's going to be scary. It's going to be stressful.
Yeah.
I then have them going to Orlando and destroying the Orlando Magic in a shocking result. We're all going to be shocked by it. We're all going to be worried about that game. Even without Paolo, the Magic are still a little frisky.
Yeah, great
in
defense.
Orlando. It's not an easy matchup. It'll still be rusty Joel because Joel's going to sit the Cavs game, I would assume, because they play the Cavs on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be Joel's first 2 games are going to be Cup games.
I will point out, we'll see how the Magic look by the time we play them in the Cup. But they've been very bad since Paolo went down. Like, their offense is just not workable.
I do worry. I worry about the defense with Joel in his second game back from the second game back because it feels like a Joel disaster class game. To be quite honest with you, it feels like a Joel disaster class game. That's going to have to be Tyrese's number.
Okay. All right, we'll have to have a Maxey master class.
I actually think the Nets game is going to be disappointing. I think they're going to win, but they're not going to run up the score.
Okay,
and they're going to also beat the Hornets. On the last night, Joel does make the decision to play in the Charlotte game, and that's also a tough spot. They don't win big. My concern is if they lose the Knicks game, they're not going to win. They're not going to get in off point differential. So they basically have to go 4-0 to get to make it to the next round, I think.
All right, Chiodo, close your ears. This is the first time we're going to disagree. I'm taking the Knicks.
Yeah.
The Knicks are built for the in-season tournament. They made it to Vegas last year. They are a team that takes the regular season very seriously. I know they've been kind of middling so far to start this year. They bounce back and forth. But this is a team that has something to prove. They've heard all the noise about Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and all that shit, and they're going to have statement games in the Cup. And they're going to kill all the other non-Sixers teams and squeak out a win against the Sixers in order to go 4-0 and win this group stage. Does that mean the Sixers are done? Stay tuned. We'll talk about that in our wild card section. But is there any cup risers from this group that you would like to select from that you think could make a statement between the Knicks, Magic, Sixers, Nets, and Hornets?
I will say Cam Thomas is going to be a point differential demon. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill both the Sixers, the Knicks, and I doubt the Magic will really be in contentions. But if they were, point differential,
if they're down 10 with 2 minutes left, he's going to cut it to 4.
He's going to be so annoying for the point differential. Like I can already see the Sixers playing Brooklyn up 17 with 3 minutes left, and Cam Thomas just rips off 10 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I can already see it.
Very
on the Sixers, a surprising cup riser here. You're not going to expect it. Uncle Eric's going to be a cup riser.
Wow. Okay. Eric Gordon making an impact.
Uncle Eric, I think, respects the cup. He's going to be a cup riser. I also believe in Caleb Martin's cup rising abilities. I'm not sure. Hopefully, Kelly Oubre should stay off the streets of Philadelphia this weekend, but I not feeling great about his cup chances, to be honest with you. I think Kelly Oubre is going to be a cup dropper. But again, you can prove me wrong, Kelly. Just make sure to stay off the streets this weekend.
Absolutely. We need you this time. Last time we didn't have you, and we suffered. So let's move on to...
Wait, hold on. I didn't pick mine.
Sam didn't make his prediction. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this is important. This is so important.
Because
I disagree with both of you.
I actually want to make... After Sam makes this, I want to make a point.
I think the Charlotte Hornets are being slept on as having
that's my
and NBA Cup potential, and I actually am picking them to win this group. They've not had Lamelo Ball before. Lamelo Ball, I think is going to respect the cup in like a huge way.
Yeah.
I think they're young and hungry. I don't think they're like necessarily a bad team. Grant Williams, unfortunately, has been downgraded from my guy ever since he tried to kill Jason Tatum.
I thought you put that hit out on him.
No. Unfortunately, I now have to come down off of my Grant thing. But Grant's a 16-game player. And
he's not a 4-game player.
He's a he's a what is it? 7.
Well,
he's a 7-game player.
But for group play, it's 4. There's 4-game players, and then there's 3-game players. There's a difference between group stages and then there are 7-game players that play well in both group and elimination stages.
Dr. Grant Williams, I think this is the division that is like really even. Like I think this might be the division that's 2-2 and 2-2. And I think that I think LaMelo Ball kind of changes. I think we kind of forget that the Hornets are like a competent to good team with LaMelo Ball. I think he could rise with the chance to like see some national TV games.
By the way, just a footnote here: the Hornets did compete with the Celtics twice this past weekend, so I just want to throw this out there.
And I watched them both, and now
I agree with Sam completely on the Hornets thing. I think this is a great. They got a great draw here. Yep. The Apollo injury, big for them.
Yep.
And I have a take here: Sixers Hornets, December 3rd, the final game of Cup play. Is going to be the 3-0 Philadelphia 76ers against the 3-0 Charlotte Hornets for Group A.
Wow.
That would be
Let me lay it out for you. The Charlotte Hornets, they start off with the Magic. They play at Orlando and at Brooklyn. The Orlando game could be tough. Mm-hmm. I'm picking up to win that game. And they got the Nets at home. I mean, the Nets in Brooklyn. I think they can pull that out. They'll respect the cup.
Yeah.
The Knicks game at home. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Noon start. That's a good spot.
And that's in Madison Square Garden or Charlotte?
No,
okay.
Charlotte.
Sorry.
That is a letdown spot for the Knicks if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
The Hornets are going to be 2-0. The Knicks are going to be 2-0. I mean, the Hornets are going to be 2-0 in that spot. Black Friday. Charlotte's going to be juiced up. They're going to be 2-0 in the cup. The Knicks come into town. They're going to win that game, and that sets up an epic Sixers Hornets December 3rd. For the cup, which makes me very nervous because it feels like something the Sixers will lose.
Elimination game Sixers.
It's a little Sixers Hawksy.
A little bit. New Hawks just dropped. We changed the Hawks. We changed the 2021 Hawks
I'm very scarred by these teams that are joke teams facing against Philly teams in the playoffs. We are not having a good run of that.
Also, I do just want to point out here, Bill on his podcast this past week said LaMelo Ball might be a good stats, bad team guy. Do you want to guess what LaMelo Ball's on-offs are this year when he's on the court for the... It's actually a negative, but I just want to show you how different it is. So he is currently a negative 2.2 in the minutes that he plays with a 120 offensive rating, which is great offensive rating. And in the minutes that he sits, they are a negative 16.8. So, yes, he is on a bad team. They're a disastrous team when he doesn't play. So if LaMelo's out, their cup chances are done. But if he plays, they got a chance.
Every full season LaMelo's played, haven't they been 500?
So last year that wasn't the case, but he dealt with ankle injuries all year before he shut down and had to have ankle surgery.
Those Hornets, his first 2 or 3 years. Those Hornets teams were frisky.
When they were somewhat competent, he had them in the play-in. Yeah. He's a really good player. You just can't really stay healthy. Yeah. God. But anyway,
Alonzo,
also
one of the Ball brothers should run the league if they had decent genetics.
Maybe he'll go to Charlotte next year, and we'll get the Lonzo LaMelo backcourt there. But I just want to put this out there. We talked about the jaw restoring the feeling on the last episode. LaMelo might be the purest hooper that we have left. Last remaining pure hooper who is just he's somehow efficient just because he's such a crazy 3-point shooter, but just does not think about anything but hooping. He is just pure joy in hoop form. And it's been a blast to watch him have a bounce back season this year. Yeah. I've always said I'd take him over the majority of guards if he ever can stay healthy, just because he's 6'8". He's an incredible passer and shooter, and that those guys don't grow on trees. I hope that he gets the chance to have, rewrite his story here. All right, let's scroll down to the next group.
Oh my God.
This is a tough one, folks. You ready for this? Are you sitting down? This is East Group B. The Bucks, the Pacers, the Heat, the Pistons, and the Raptors. I gotta say, if you had told me coming into the season that I might be higher on the Raptors than the Bucks,
I thought about picking the Raptors in this group.
I have to say, I know Scotty Barnes has been out. I came up with the concept that I want to run by Sam that we might do later, but the idea was basically I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game draft.
Yeah.
Where we kind of rewrite, okay, maybe these players that we thought were not good. Number 1 and 2 on this list for me this year might be Raptors. RJ Barrett's looked incredible to start the season. And Grady Dick has really made a leap in his second year. I liked him as a prospect, but the defense was so bad as a rookie that I was like, ugh. And he was incredibly inefficient. He's made some strides this year. They have a few athletic. They're a fun team. I didn't expect them to be fun at all.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be a slog.
Grady Dick being playable to good is huge for them. They need spacing so fucking badly,
Yeah, and he can get buckets. He can score too. He's a really good cutter, good slasher. Yeah. He can. He's a pretty good athlete. I've been very impressed with it. Like I said, I feel about as low on the Bucks relative to my preseason expectations, and I feel higher on the Raptors relative to my preseason expectations. And I wasn't quite as low on them as you were, Sam, but I just think that like I said, I don't think they're going to win a ton of games, but I think they're fun and young, and they're good. This is good for the cup to have a fun young Raptors team, even without Scotty Barnes in there. So, yeah.
So that's your pick? Are you picking the Raptors?
No. This one's really hard, to be honest with you. I think this is the hardest one that I had.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run these teams back for Sam.
Oh, I know.
The Pacers, Heat, Raptors, Pistons, and Bucks.
I know who I'm picking.
So the Bucks won their group last year, but I'm just
no.
I mean, I know that they've competed the last 2 games against the Cavs, but I just can't believe how bad their defense is. They don't defend ever. They don't even try on defense. It's kind of pathetic. If you're going up against a creator on any given night, put all of your fucking money on whoever's going up against the Bucks on their over. They hit every time. Darius Garland just cooked them for 2 straight games. Dennis Schroeder had a crazy game against them. I just think that the Bucks, they're probably not going to have Middleton for any of this, so that won't even be there. I'm fading the Bucks in the cup. I don't think that they go back to Vegas this year. And I had a really hard time. I'm just going to go based on vibes. It came down to the Pacers and the Heat for me. And I think the Pacers are just a historical cup rising team. I know that they've started like shit. I know Hallie hasn't looked the same. I think their style of play is built for the cup. The way they run up and down, the way they can, just spray out to shooters, the way that they keep the ball moving. They beat good teams in the Cup. They got to the Cup finals last year. This is going to be, how the Miami Heat every year get to the playoffs as a lower seed and make a run? The Pacers are going to be that for the Cup. They're going to be the team that, even though they're playing like shit, it doesn't matter. Throw it all out the window. Records don't matter. Net rating doesn't matter. How guys look. They're going to have 7 different guys that can randomly go off, and they're going to win their group. They're going to go like 3-1.
Okay. All right.
I'm thinking about this one.
Do you want me to go, Chiodo?
Yeah.
Make my
I'm
case
thinking
first.
about
Okay.
this one.
Okay. This will surprise no one. Detroit basketball. This is a team, look, they're not gonna win the Cup. Okay. They can win group play. All right. This is a competitive team. They have the two-headed dragon of their 2 elite young guards in Jaden Ivey and Marcus Sasser.
I knew you were going to say that.
They're really gonna can really cook at this time. But ironically, Jalen Duren, I know his stats look bad. I've been watching Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren is good. I'm sorry. I keep watching. I've watched a lot of Pistons this year. I'm convinced Jalen Duren is good. Isaiah Stewart, they have real Tobias is their worst rotation player, which
no argument from me on that one.
I did not expect that coming into the year. Even Tim Hardaway Jr., as bad as he can be, has some moments and will hit some shots. Beasley will hit some shots. Fontecchio has had some strong times. Ivy gives this team real ceiling stuff. And Cade, jokes aside, Cade is very stabilizing as a number one guy. I think Ron Holland has been very encouraging. What we've seen out of him. I think they're going to be a young team. I think this is another one that gets a little weird and springy. I think a lot of people are going to be picking, the Pacers or the Heat out of this division. But I think that Detroit can get there. I think they can get 3 wins in this division, and I think they can sneak up on people. I think in particular, the Pacers and the Heat are going to be weak to this particular brand of basketball.
I do just want to point out the Pistons have 3 wins on the season. One of them are the Lakers, who you said suck. One of them are the Sixers without Paul George and Embiid, who are the worst team I've ever seen. And then the third one is the Nets, who actively pulled their starters in the last few minutes of the game. I think the Pistons are much improved on last year, and I agree with you on that. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see what they can do over the course of 2 months instead of 8 games.
Who do you think has a higher point differential, the Pistons or the Pacers?
Well, I was just looking at it. They actually have a worse net rating than the Pacers. They have a worse net rating than the Sixers. They actually have the discrepancy between their net rating and their record is one of the lowest in the league.
But the Pistons?
Yeah.
No, their point differential is negative 3.2. They're higher than the Pacers.
Did this not update? Hold on. Am I looking at the wrong thing? Oh, this is the last. Sorry, this is yeah. Cleaning the glass says that they filter out garbage time.
Filtering out garbage time. Okay.
It has negative 8.7 for the Pistons, and then the
Sixers. That's an absurd swing, though, because it's very much the same.
They have the 24th offense and the 25th defense.
I'm telling you that's not real. You have calculator rat shit. It's
too small to sample. I think they've looked better just by the eye test for sure. I don't disagree with that. They've looked like a real team. Once again, I agree with you. Yeah. I just think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. And the thing is that this group really stinks. All
of those other teams fucking suck. I haven't watched the Raptors, I'll be honest. I've watched the other 4 teams. They're all trash.
By the way, take a guess who has the highest net rating in this group on Cleaning the Glass.
The Heat.
It's actually not the Heat. It's the Pacers with a negative 5.1. This is the worst group by a mile.
Yeah, this is an all-time bad NBA Cup group. We're gonna be talking about this group for a while.
Wait, hold on. I was wrong. It's actually the Brooklyn Nets by a significant margin. I forgot they were in this group. Wait,
they're not in this group.
I'm sorry, they're not in this group. I apologize. Yeah, they're in the other group. Yeah, no, the Nets have a very good net rating.
I thought about the Nets in the East A. Dude, if Paolo was healthy, that East A group would be a movie.
Yeah, it would be great, but unfortunately he's not. So, Chiodo, who are you picking for this group?
B, I agree that the Pacers are cup risers, and I think they will rise to the occasion. They open their cup with a big Friday night game on ESPN, I believe, against the Miami Heat at home in Indiana. Crowd's going to be juiced up. It's the cup. They respect the cup in Indiana. I'll give them that. They'll win that game. They're going to lose. They're going to go 2-2, and they're not going to win this group because they're going to lose to Milwaukee, who in Milwaukee, revenge game. It's the only game. It's the only game Milwaukee's going to care about all year.
Mm-hmm.
Like Milwaukee's going to go 1-3 in cup play, but they're going to win that game.
Right.
And then the Pacers, they'll still be in great position to take the cup at 2-1. They close with the they close with the Raptors in Toronto, and all they're gonna have to do is win that game because their point differential is going to be so much higher than the Miami Heat, who are going to be also 2-1. Miami Heat are going to finish 3-1. Their point difference is going to be so much higher, and they're just going to have to win that game. They're going to overlook the Toronto Raptors, and they're going to get their doors blown out in Toronto, and they are going to lose their cup dream because they are cup risers. They're almost
who's winning the group?
Miami Heat.
The Miami Heat are winning the group?
Miami Heat are going 3-1.
Wow.
With their one loss being Indiana, and they are winning the group. And their point differential is going to be like +2, but they will win the group at 3-1.
The technicality they will get by. Yeah, this group stinks. All right, let's move on to East Group C, which is
about this one.
Celtics, Cavs, Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, Washington Wizards.
Yes.
Now, coming into the year, I would have told you the Celtics are going to run away with this group. I would have said, I remember when they premiered this and we were upset over the fact that the Celtics got such an easy draw.
Yes.
But I didn't anticipate the Cleveland Cavaliers still being undefeated. I didn't anticipate the Atlanta Hawks. They just blew them out, but like looking more like a normal team. And I definitely didn't anticipate the Wizards being like kind of scrappy. This is the cup, so it's a little different. Who are you picking to win this group, Chiodo?
I'm taking the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have the Cleveland Cavaliers going 4-0 in group play.
Wow.
They are going to make a statement. Credit to them. They're off to a great start. They're 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make a statement in cup play that this is our league. That we run the East. They're going to have the best, because entering the East playoffs, they're going to be the cup winners.
Right.
That's going to be who determines the pecking order in the East.
That's a moment.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to go 4-0. They're going to beat Boston. The Boston Celtics are going to go 2-2, and the Boston Celtics, they're going to go 2-2.
Who are they losing to?
They're going to lose to Chicago Bulls.
We're getting.
The Boston Celtics are not making it a group play. The Boston Celtics are going to play. The Boston Celtics are going to play the Detroit Pistons in one of those consolation regular season games.
Wow, getting knocked out of the giddy.
They're not making it to group play. Lonzo Ball is going to go crazy, and he is going to have a 20-10-10 game to knock the.
Isn't he hurt? Oh, I guess he's only
out. He'll be back for the cup.
He'll be
back for the cup.
He's not missing that for the world. I
Lonzo
know
Ball,
he's locked in for the cup.
And the Celtics don't play the Bulls to the last cup game, so Lonzo will be back for that in Chicago. And
unbelievable.
Bulls, by the way, go 3.
Sam, who are you taking from this group?
Unfortunately, I have to be boring. I think I'm picking the Celtics to go 4-0 in this group. I think the Cavs are their only real competition. I think they kind of smoke everyone here. Chiodo, for those of you watching, Chiodo is shaking his head. He's disgusted with this. The integrity. I'm showing no integrity to the Cubs with a blatant homer.
You both picked your home teams.
Yeah,
yeah, but I believe it. I agonized over this for the past week.
Of course,
I did. I was prepared before the Paulo injury to come on here.
Yeah.
And be like, it's not the year, guys. It's just not the year.
Yeah.
It's the year again.
But that changed.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to pick them to win. We'll see.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm picking the Celtics for that group as well. And then I have 2 teams that I'm picking from for the wild card. I did not pick the Sixers. I did not pick the Cavs. Those are the 2 teams that I had to choose from. I thought you got 2 wild card teams, so I had both of them. But the integrity of the cup, I'm not going to disrespect the cup and change my board. I can't do it. I painstakingly put hours into this. I'm not going to sit here and act just because I'm a Sixers fan that they're going to make it because I want them to. The Cavs will be the wild card team making it. They will have one,
just for the record.
They will have one close loss to the Celtics, and they'll go 3-1 otherwise. Their point differential will be good. And the final group that advance will be the Knicks, the Pacers, the Celtics, and the Cavs.
Okay. My wild card team, I gave it away earlier. The Charlotte Hornets will be my wild card team. 3-0 Hornets against the 3-0 Sixers. And it'll be a big game because the Hornets are going to have that fallback because they'll have the point differential.
Right.
The Sixers aren't going to have that fallback. You know why? Because if the Sixers lose, the Chicago Bulls will be the wild card team. So there is a world here where where your NBA, the East looks like the Hornets, the Pacers, the Heat, and the Bulls.
But that's small market
My
representation.
seeding goes 1 Cavs with the highest point differential, 2 Sixers 4-0, second highest point differential, 3 Heat, 4 Hornets.
Okay. All right. So
I will continue to be boring and select the Cavs. We're 3-1 and have a huge point differential. Have actually the biggest point differential in the group stages. In my opinion.
All right. So now we have our elimination stage games. So
yes,
Chiodo.
So seeding wise, again in the West, I had the the
Thunder were 1.
Yeah, the Thunder. I had the Thunder, Kings, Warriors, Suns. So I'll start with the West. Thunder versus Suns in OKC. Kevin Durant revenge game, maybe.
Ooh,
wow.
Kevin Durant will show up.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a Devin Booker disaster class because
Again?
Devin Booker's going to think he's above the cup because of the whole Olympics thing, and we do respect the Olympics, but you're not above the cup, buddy. And the Thunder, it's going to be a really good game. The Thunder are going to pull away at the end. I think it's going to be a really good Caruso game. Caruso's going to show up. Caruso respects the cup.
Cup riser. Yeah, absolutely.
I foresee like a 4-steal game from Caruso. He's going to be.
I know Caruso was watching the Lakers win the cup last year and was just in pain that he didn't stay with the Lakers so he could have a title 100%. And a cup with the Lakers. So I would imagine he's going to be going full throttle to try to win that.
And I think OKC will end up winning this game by about 20 points. It'll be close like at halftime, and OKC will pull away last third and fourth. And everyone's take is going to be after this game. Oh, OKC, it's all them. They got it. Vegas, don't even go to Vegas because OKC is going to run Vegas. Because at this time, they're also going to be like 20-3. So that'll be, and then the second game, man, what a matchup we have here. Kings Warriors, the rivalry
again
in Sacramento.
Part 3.
And this time the Kings got their revenge last year in the play-in. Steph gets them back.
Like bounces back the other direction.
It's an legacy Steph game. He scores 47 points. He hits 8 threes. And it's a really close game. Like,
does he cry?
He might.
Yeah.
He might say this is the biggest game of his career. I have the Warriors winning by about 5 points. It's going to be a really close game. Sabonis will show up.
Of course.
Yeah. Buddy Hield will struggle. It's going to be a rough Buddy Hield game.
Playing against his old team.
Yes.
Not ready for the elimination games, similar to, well, he did. Actually, the one time he played an elimination game was his only good game.
And then he was a disaster in the second half, but we'll let it go.
NBA Cup finalist, though, Buddy Hield. He did play in that Pacers team last year. Keep that in mind. It's important to consider. I think Cup experience is important.
Cup experience is very valuable.
Yeah. So I have the same matchups as you. I have the Thunder winning mine. And I'm gonna zag and I'm gonna go. I say the Kings. I say the Kings take down the Warriors. The Kings are built for the cup, man. Like I think it's gonna be Thunder Kings in Vegas. I think that's gonna be a movie, personally.
Yes.
I think the Kings understand what's at stake here, and they understand that in order to set a tone for the rest of the season, you got to show up every night like it's the last game of the season. And the cup is important. They want to bring it home. They want to raise the banner. So Sam, what do you have for your West finals?
I have the identical matchup. Is just I have the Grizzlies instead of the Suns in my matchup. So I have a tale of two things. There's good and there's evil. Okay, so the good result being that the small market team who didn't go out and make a splash in free agency, waving around their big checkbook the way that the Oklahoma City Thunder Yankees did.
Yeah.
Going out and poaching homegrown talent from the New York Knicks who are barely getting by in Isaiah Hartenstein. So this is like a very thrown together, very mercenary hired guns or Oklahoma City Thunder team. And I think this Memphis Grizzlies homegrown, plucky, small market team is going to stand up to Goliath here, and I think that they get them in this game, and I think that they pull a resounding upset, cup magic in the first weekend, and I think the Grizzlies advance. On the other side of the coin, we all just saw what happened yesterday in the election. Evil always wins.
I was going to say, by the way, hold on, before you continue there, Sam, definitely not wish casting in the same way that he did when he predicted the election, picking the Grizzlies to beat the Thunder. Anyway, continue.
Yes. No. So here is where I acknowledge that I was wrong. Evil is omnipresent in this world. The bad guys always win. Demon energy will always defeat what is good and just. And that is the Warriors shellacking our beautiful Kings, who are just the arbiters of everything good.
Yes.
The Warriors are demonic EMB, fucking Leviathan. And Steph Curry is inevitable. So that's your terrible thing happening.
Okay, so who do we have coming out of the West for the Cup?
I'm selecting the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, Warriors.
Warriors, Thunder.
This is old versus new. This is
Yes.
This is everything the Cup's build on.
It is. I think the Warriors will show up for this game. It's not going to be a we're happy to be here trip for the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Steph Curry, it definitely eats at him. LeBron's got a cup and he doesn't. I'm sure he thinks about that on a daily basis. And because they're tied in titles and LeBron has a cup, so he's got the advantage. So I think the Warriors will keep this close. I think it's going to be a back and forth battle. The Thunder are probably going to be like 10-point favorites, and everyone's going to be picking them. Warriors going to keep it close. But at the end, the Thunder just too much talent. Much talent. Buddy Hield shoots 1 for 11 from 3. He really struggles. And I think this is a big SGA game. SGA, I think, will take the matchup personally. He's always going at Steph when they play.
Yeah. Chet hit a game winner against the Warriors last year.
Yeah, I think SGA puts up 30. I'll go 37, 9, and 8, and he leads the OKC Thunder over the Warriors 111 to 105, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are headed to the Cup final.
Wow, I have chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I have right now for my final in the West, I have the Kings versus the Thunder. I famously picked the Kings to win, or I'm sorry, the Thunder to win the West this year, but I'm going the other direction. The Sacramento Kings are built for the NBA Cup. Mike Brown's going to come to his senses. He's going to start. I know Keon Ellis has been playing more recently. Starting lineup of Keon Ellis, De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis. They're going to lock teams up. They're going to make tough shots. This team is ready to rise and get to the finals of the NBA Cup after coming so close last year and falling just short. I know it broke their hearts.
Yes.
To lose that first game.
Affects them the rest of the season.
They never recovered, really. They didn't even make the playoffs because of it. So I think that they will rise to the occasion this time. I'm taking the Kings out of the Western Conference. The East, it looks a little bit different for me. Obviously, I have the first matchup for me is the Cleveland Cavaliers once again against the Boston Celtics. It's tough for me.
What a matchup.
It is probably going to be the two best teams at the East, the 1 and the 2 seed. And I have been very high on the Celtics. I picked them to win the East. I'm going to zag once again, and I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers here. I think the Cavs, they got something to prove, man. The Celtics, if they're already stamped, they won the finals, they're whatever. Well, that didn't really happen. But the Cavs are going to be the cup risers on this side. They're going to make it in as the wild card. They're going to win their first round game. Who did you have in your 1-4, Chiodo?
I had Cavaliers versus Hornets. And
Let's go.
To be brutally honest, this is a happy to be there game for the Hornets. They can't believe they made it. They didn't make it to Vegas, but they can't believe they made it out of group play. They can't believe they've got the eyes of the world on them in the NBA Cup. And the Cleveland Cavaliers will beat them by 27. And it's never going to be close. It's going to be like 30-15 after the first quarter. It's happy to be there.
It's going to be Lamelo Ball hits a 3 to cut the lead to 34 type
yes,
meme.
That's what it's going to be. But they should be happy to be there. It's a great run for the Charlotte Hornets. And they're going to build on this next year. That they add a player in the offseason, and they're right there in the Cup 2025 Cup.
Yep.
And then
I have my matchup is Celtics Cavs. I think this is a game where the Cavs jump out to a 25-point lead. The Celtics cannot hit anything. They throw just cannot buy a 3. They're shooting like 21% going into the third quarter, and they catch fire down the stretch, tie the game up late, force overtime, and the Cavs barely hang on.
The Dean Wade game, part 2.
Yeah, barely hang on, and it's the best game of the Cup. But the Cavs barely advance out of a truly horrific Celtics shooting performance.
We're all high on the Cavs in the Cup. I was the most wrong about the Cavs of the teams that I was lower on coming into this season. I'm making it up to them.
They're hungry. Mm-hmm. Garland is ready. You got to have your guy.
He's back.
Garland is ready.
So, all right, what was our other matchup in the Eastern Conference? Because I personally had Knicks Pacers once again. Another rematch. I believe this was a Cup matchup last year, if I remember correctly. Was it, Chiodo?
Yes. Wait, Knicks,
they played in the Cup and then they played in the playoffs?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, was it?
Because the Pacers made it to the finals and the Knicks were in it.
Yeah, the Knicks were in it. No, the Knicks lost to the Bucks.
Correct. You are correct.
And Pacers beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
In a loss that really derailed the Celtics season. That's all they've been thinking about for a year.
Exactly. Yeah. So
the Celtics aren't going to get to Vegas second straight year, man.
That's tough. That's a bad look.
Might be time to break that core up.
Yeah. So I'm going to take it's Knicks Pacers with the chance to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. And as I said before, I don't believe in the Pacers, but I do believe in the magic of the Cup. And I do believe that there can be teams that will overcome some of their flaws when they're in the right setting and they have the proper amount of motivation. And I'm going with the Pacers to upset the Knicks in this game. To play the Cavaliers, we have a small market Cleveland Cavaliers versus Indiana Pacers in my final. And we have the Kings on the other end. We're just going with vibes, baby. I'm taking the Pacers again. The Pacers are a special Cup team. I don't like their team all that much this year. I think I picked them to be like the 6th seed or the 7th seed. I don't really think that they're built to play in the playoffs. They're built to play in the Cup. It's going to be Kings Pacers in the finals. That's going to be the matchup. Sabonis versus Halliburton. Small market teams, disrespected teams, left to the side.
That would be a good Cup matchup. I endorse that Cup matchup.
Yeah, I've thought long and hard about this. So
you guys are little babies compared to this. Watch this Cup game that I'm about to throw at you.
Okay.
Pistons Hornets quarterfinals game.
That's special.
Let's fucking go. This is special.
This is what the Cup is about.
This is what the Cup is all about right here. And I think my Charlotte Hornets, I think Miles Bridges gets hurt. A light falls on him in the beginning. He's carted off to hell. And the Charlotte Hornets rally around Brandon Miller, who's never had, by contrast, has never been involved with anything bad. They rally around Brandon Miller and Lamelo Ball, who's also made great motor vehicle decisions and never endangered anyone in his entire life. Grant Williams, who's also never endangered teammates or anyone like that. This is the team of destiny, the Charlotte Hornets, and they are going to sadly defeat my adopted team, the Detroit Pistons, and advance to face my Boston Celtics in the East Finals. So
that was beautiful. That was
yes.
I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you, but
Tobias will definitely be a cup dropper.
Yeah, Tobias will get benched.
Tobias will get benched during the Cup.
Ron Holland, Dutch up. Vaughn Dutch.
Tobias if Tobias makes that a group play and we don't, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
The vibes might be too bad to overcome if that happens.
And
he lost the Tobias game in Philly. Oh, yeah.
The Celtics will also beat the Hornets by 48 points in their matchup in the next round.
Okay, so you have the Celtics versus the
Warriors.
Grizzlies? Oh, Warriors, right. Okay. Celtics Warriors. Wow, that's the game tonight.
Yeah.
I have Sixers Heat in Philadelphia. Rematch of the play-in game. The Nick Batum game, who we don't acknowledge.
Another part 3. They beat us in the playoffs. We beat them in the play-in.
Yeah.
Now
play-in is way important.
Yeah. I've always said that.
The rematch the Nick Batum game. The Nick Batum just a massive loser trade.
Yeah.
Nick Batum cup dropper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. I was blanking if Nick Batum even played in the cup last year because remember he was throwing a temper tantrum after the trade.
You could forget because he's so
he threw a temper tantrum after the trade. People forget. But yeah, Sixers Heat. I think it'll be an ugly game. It will be kind of like the play-in, where the play-in was ugly. There was no one was really playing well. And who's going to step up for the Sixers? No one else but Uncle Eric. Uncle Eric is going to hit 5 threes in this game.
Amazing.
He's going to go
Let's
off.
go.
Embiid's going to be playing like shit. Maxey's going to be caught up in Spo's bullshit defense, and he's not going to have much to do. George will play well, but this is going to be an Eric Gordon game, and we're going to be talking about the Eric Gordon game for generations to come because they're going to be down 95-90 with 3 minutes left, and Eric Gordon's going to hit back-to-back threes to put him 96-95.
Wow.
And then Embiid will close the door from there. A couple of foul grifting, a couple free throws. They lock down on D. Sixers win this game 102-97. And they advanced to Vegas for the first time in franchise history. And there's parties in the streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That sets up the Vegas semifinal, Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And at this time, there'll be a lot of talk in Philadelphia. Do we even want to win this game? Because Embiid would have to play an extra game. And Embiid will be listed questionable for this game.
Wow.
And they'll be terrified in the streets of Philadelphia. I'll be losing my mind. Embiid will, and then we get the Kyle Neubeck tweet 15 minutes before the game starts. Embiid's going to give it a go. And Joel Embiid comes out.
What song is playing? What, we have some
Many Men.
Many Men.
Many Men. Embiid comes out and he elbows Jared Allen so hard in the face. In the first minute of the game, he throws an elbow like in the 2019 playoffs.
God.
He should get a flagrant 2. He gets a flagrant 1 because Adam Silver respects the cup. The Cavaliers fans throw a temper tantrum. The Celtics fans who are watching from their couches throw a temper tantrum that Embiid stays in the game. And what does he do? He scores 55 points. He he puts Jared Allen in the rim. He dunks on him 3 times. Not 3 times. That's unrealistic. He dunks on him once. He puts him in the rim, 55 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Sixers win 125-109. Sixers versus Thunder in the Cup final.
Wow. Okay, so you have Sixers Thunder. Sam has Warriors Celtics. I have Kings Pacers. A little different matchup across the board here. I'm saying we're riding the wave, baby. The beam is being lit. DeMar DeRozan, MVP. He's proven everyone wrong. He has the lathe of heaven. He is the perfect hooper. He is the peak of basketball excellence. And because the Cup doesn't care about all that analytical noise and all that bullshit, on the wave of Ball Don't Stop coming out as a Trump supporter last night, I think DeMar DeRozan overcomes everything. By the way, Sam, we have to talk about that. Ball Don't Stop is a Trump. Okay, so first off, the most insane part of Ball Don't Stop being a Trump supporter is the fact that he tweeted the Jordan holding up the 3 logo, implying that Trump won the last election.
Oh, I didn't realize.
That's
cool. That's what he's saying.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's
also no, hold on, I didn't even get to it.
Okay,
he's also Canadian. He's not from America.
I will say there's a lot of Canadians that are very invested in American politics. Here's what I'll say. Ball Don't Stop has always been a guy about technique and skill and craft.
Yes.
It's inarguable that Donald Trump has the most skill and craft of like any politician since Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Obama's like the peak. We talk about like how Obama was like just that. We're never gonna have a politician as good as
actor.
Obama.
Yeah.
Like he was
yeah,
like just a force of nature. Like he's LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like but Trump is Kobe. You know. There's parallels there. Yeah. He like he's just got the craft. He's got the game.
He's born into it. His dad, both of their dads.
Both of their dads were born into the game. They were around the rim. Every once in a while, there'll be just like a generational performance, like whether it's putting 80 on the Raptors or saying that Barney Frank looked disgusting, nipples protruding. Like there's just unrealistic, and
and you forget about certain things too. Like people often forget that Kobe had a season where he tried to force his way off the Lakers, and people also often forget that Trump was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It's very similar. Trump Trump recently won this election after everyone said he was washed. Kobe went 6 for 23 in the game 7. That this very similar. Very similar.
They challenge norms at a minimum. Like there isn't really a way to personify their ability to perform in a way that registers with the calculator rat / liberal mind. Which is why I correctly predicted this election, because I just went on vibes. I didn't go based on any analytics or any polls or anything like that. It was all just vibes. And that's all the reason why people love Kobe too. It's literally just vibes and mindset, but makes total sense. The parallels are there, and Ball Don't Stop Being a Trump Supporter actually makes sense if you think about it, but it just blew my mind that and
if you think about it, vibes and mindset is also what the cup is about.
That's true. That's
the NBA
very, very
Cup
true.
is like the presidential election.
It in many ways it is. I would say it's second, just below it in terms of importance.
It's more. I think the cup's
a little more important. Yeah. Just
what's Trump's thought on the cup? I wonder.
It's in Vegas, so
I feel like he'd have negative thoughts on the cup.
I don't know. He loves winners. Vegas, though.
Yeah, he loves glitz and glamour and winners. Yeah. Like I think Trump would be like fascinated by like the clothes. I think Trump would love the NBA if he got there early enough to see guys like walk into the arena. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he would love that. Russell Westbrook looked disgusting, no sleeves. Like he'd love the NBA.
Kyle Kuzma wearing a big pink blanket looks like shit.
Tyrese Halliburton, very handsome young man. dressed well,
dressed like Waldo.
Yeah. See, he'd love Halliburton. Trump would be a huge Halliburton guy. Yeah.
So long story short, who do you have winning the cup, Sam? We'll save Chiodo's prediction here for last.
Unfortunately, I think the Golden State Warriors win it.
Yes.
This year,
to stack onto the resume, to add a cup to the resume that they have.
Steve Kerr makes America great again.
He makes America great again, and I think this is the last piece missing from Steph Curry's trophy cabinet. He needs this for it to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think he gets it done here.
You think he's MVP?
Yeah, like he's under a lot of pressure here. This is his legacy on the line. Like Jason Tatum still has years to win his cup. Like they're still feeling it out. Like they're still in the stage where they're going to keep bashing their head against the wall, coming up just short. Steph's going to unfortunately have to show the Celtics how winning the cup is done. And Steph's going to want it. He's going to want to be hungry.
Of course. So, So Chiodo, this is the moment everyone tuned in for. This is what everyone's been waiting for.
Sixers versus Thunder. And coming in, there's going to be some process takes. Presti got to see his process through. Sixers didn't get the process. The national media is going to try to be like this. Thunder did it the right way. The Sixers didn't. And that's bullshit, but whatever. Thunder Sixers, Joel Embiid, fully, no questionable. He's playing this game.
Is Hartenstein playing? Because he's healthy by this point?
Hartenstein is playing.
Okay. That's an important part of this.
And it is an important part because Joel Embiid is going to have a disaster first half. It's going to be a rough.
By the way, I do just want to point out some narrative lines here. Hartenstein versus Embiid again.
Yeah.
We also get the factor in the fact that Alex Caruso never played for the Sixers, but he should have. Yeah. Paul George is a former Thunder. He will also be going. Isaiah Joe, former Sixer.
Flop. Shams said Joel set to make his debut Tuesday against the Knicks.
Yep.
We're back to end the cup episode while Chiodo is making his prediction for the cup finals. This is poetic here. So you have the floor, Chiodo.
By the way, small thing. The change, I'm not sure if I like the change in the cup schedule. Like last year, it ended on a Saturday night.
Interesting.
This year, if you look at the schedule, the quarterfinals are on a Wednesday night, semifinals on Saturday night, and then final is on a Wednesday night.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I like that.
Aura.
No aura. Yeah, I'm not. I really don't like that. It does have
the weekend. The Saturday Cup final had aura.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I would have kept it on the weekend, at least Friday or Sunday.
Yeah, the double header on Saturday in Vegas will have some aura to it.
Yeah,
the double header, but regardless, not a fan of that.
It'd be like the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Thunder are going to be up by 10 at halftime. Embiid's going to be playing really bad. There's going to be a lot of questions on Twitter. He's going to get destroyed on Twitter. It's the biggest game of his career.
Yeah.
Playing really bad. Second half, Embiid will come out, and Tyrese Maxey is going to yell at him because Embiid's gonna have one of the PJ. He's gonna have a PJ Tucker moment basically,
Mhm.
where he's gonna go up soft. He's gonna miss a couple free throws. Maxey's gonna yell at him. Maxey's gonna get on him. And after that, Joel Embiid goes nuts. He scores 27 points in the last 15 minutes of the game.
Wow.
He hits. Okay, back up a little bit. Score is going to be 197 with 35 seconds to go.
Okay.
Embiid is going to have an incredible screen assist to Tyrese Maxey. He's going to hit a 3 and get fouled by Alex Caruso.
Those count, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a screen assist. It's going to be the most talked about screen assist in NBA history.
Yep.
It's going to be a really great screen assist. And Maxey's going to hit a 3 and get fouled.
Ooh.
Tie game 100. Free throw. Maxey misses it. Tyrese Maxey misses the free throw. OKC comes down. SGA 30. There's a 5-second differential on the shot clock. 30 to 25. SGA isolates. Switches on to Caleb Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Martin, step back 2. Brick. Tipped up in the air by Hartenstein. Coming out of nowhere is Caleb Martin back for it. He gets the rebound. He calls a quick timeout. Set up at half court. 2.7 seconds left.
Okay.
Where does it go? It's got to go to Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Tyrese Maxey will have 37 points at this point.
37 points. Okay.
It's going to be just be brutally honest. It's a Paul George disaster class.
Okay. Oh, it's
Paul
too
George
bad.
disaster class.
No.
That's too bad.
Are we calling him the Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris's?
Paul George is going to have a great Heat game, and he's going to have a rough Vegas showing.
Okay.
Just being brutally honest, it's going to be a rough Vegas showing for Paul George.
Fair. I like that you don't sugarcoat it.
Can't sugarcoat it. We respect the cup too much to make up bullshit and write stories for our agendas.
Exactly. We're not Marcus Hayes.
Yeah. Tyrese Maxey gets the ball. Joel Embiid, he kicks it, drives, kicks it to the corner. Joel Embiid for 3 over SGA, and he misses it. He misses it. We're going to overtime. In overtime.
Wow. For the cup final?
We fast forward to a minute left.
I'm throwing up all over myself at this point.
It's 111 to 110.
Yeah.
The Sixers are losing. At this point in the game, Alex Caruso fouls out because he had been guarding Maxey well all game. Maxey foul. Caruso fouls out. Next possession, Maxey goes right at Jalen Williams. Gets the N1. 102, 112, 111. Free throw, good this time. 113, 111. 30 seconds left. Comes down. SGA in the corner gets double teamed. He throws it out to Chet Holmgren, top of the key. 3, makes it. 8 seconds left. Thunder up 114, 113. Looking rough. Paul George gets the ball. He waves off Maxey for some reason. And we're all just like, what is going on? What is going on? He takes a step back mid-range jumper. Horrible shot with 3 seconds left. Brick. Tipped in the air. Embiid gets the rebound. He gets fouled. He misses the shot. 2 shots. 114, 113. First free throw. Money. Second free throw.
For the cup.
Yes. Hits the front rim. Bounces on the back rim. Hits the backboard. Bounces again. And falls in. And the Philadelphia 76ers. And actually, there's 1 second left. Thunder have no timeouts. SGA hurls up a shot. Has no chance. The Philadelphia 76ers are cup champions. Joel Embiid collapses to the floor in tears.
Yeah.
Maxey is grabbing the ball. He's doing it. He's doing what Kobe did with the ball and jumping up and down. Paul George is crying. Nick Nurse is pulling the magnets off the rim again because he got his magnets again.
Yeah, of course.
And this time
it comes full circle.
And this time it is Joel Embiid also crying, comforting a crying Chet Holmgren as Chet Holmgren walks off the court in tears.
Wow.
And Joel Embiid comforts him.
A true full circle moment.
Chet
will be back though. I think Chet will be back. I just think this is
will be back.
Yeah. This
and
is
we
obviously
respect Chet for that.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia 76ers win the cup.
Amazing.
And 3 days later, they come
with
home
Arthur on stage. He takes the MVP trophy.
Champagne comes out.
Wow.
And 3 days later, they come home to Philadelphia and they raise the banner Saturday night against the Charlotte Hornets. It's emotional.
This is poetic. Amazing.
The crowd chanting MVP.
Yeah.
Marcus Hayes is not there.
Yeah.
Embiid and the Sixers lose.
Marcus Hayes has been sent to Siberia.
And the Sixers lose by 25 points to the Charlotte Hornets as they raise the cup banner.
Amazing. I don't care about that. All I care about is that we bring the cup home.
By the way, that's also whenever we win the cup, we need to lose the game after the cup.
just
It's
out of
very
respect.
important.
Yeah.
It's very important to me that we lose.
We
the
got to
game
ramp
after the Cup.
down
Yeah,
after
That's
ramping
part
up.
of the
Ramp
Gotta
down.
lose the game after the Cup.
Hitting the brakes. You got to hit the brakes.
yeah. Yeah. So
Joel Kawhi free throw is going to. Oh my God!
I have chills already thinking about
I
it.
have chills.
But all right, this is a good place to end it. We'll be back for the Patreon episode later this week. If you want to come to New Orleans with us, you can do that too. We're filling up the spots really quickly. Links in the description for that. Check that out. We're going to have a lot of fun there for that weekend. Chiodo, thank you once again for blessing us with your presence.
Win the cup. For the cup.
Bring it home.
For the
Bring it
cup.
on.
Also, I'll be streaming for Joel's debut in the NBA Cup
Yes.
on playback. Sixers Knicks. You do not want to miss that. So
Yes.
tune in for that one. I will see you guys next week.
Biggest Sixers Knicks game ever.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.